What's going on, guys? Welcome to Marcus Buff Bagwell Live. I'm Chase. With me, as always, Marcus Buff Bagwell. How's it going, man?
Hey, brother, what's going on?
Not much, man. Not much. Grinding away, man. Life.
I'm telling you, I was talking to a buddy the other day that said, we were talking about the old saying, money isn't everything. Brother, we could view that a lot of ways, but no matter what, it's better with money.
Makes life easier, doesn't it?
No matter what, brother. I mean, you can be at any level of life and you pay your bills and it's better.
That's right. I think it all comes down to stress. If you can reduce stress however possible, and money is a big stress reducer.
It is.
I think
It
that's
really
key.
is. It's amazing.
So we've got a sponsor for this live stream tonight.
Unbelievable, man.
We've got May Heating and Air here.
It's unbelievable. This cat reaches out to me. Michael is what he needs to be called. Michael Youngear, because this cat is with it. May Heating and Air. He's like a fifth generation of his initials of his family, him, and his children being MAY.
Okay.
May Heating and Air.
Oh,
This guy is so grounded. He's got an unbelievably well-oiled machine in the heating and air business, the HVAC business. And I'm talking about Georgia, Florida, South Carolina,
wow.
Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, maybe, and I think Tennessee. I think it's four. So it's Alabama, Georgia, Florida. No, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina. 4 states. I said, how do you do this? How do you trust people? How do you build this? How do you build this thing?
Sure.
And he broke it down, and it's I can see it, I can relate to it, but how he ever thought of it and had the drive, man. This guy started from the bottom. And I said, come on now, brother, let's talk. I mean, there's always a little help somewhere. Mommy had some money. Daddy had some money.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it don't take away from what all you've done, but there's something usually to give you a little bit of help.
Leg up, yeah.
No, this cat started from the bottom, started learning to do it himself. Then from there, just got good at it, and then still was hands-on the whole way. Really, really, really special guy. So he gets in touch with me, and he came through the channel talking about sobriety, though. So they give away a $14,000 AC unit each year, and they want to do more. And he is real big with, God in his life, God being number one, like that's a big thing with me. And so that was part of it. But the sobriety thing, he said, when I reached out to Janetti is when he was like, okay, Bagwell's for real. He's for real now. And he said that was the icebreaker of knowing that I was able to maybe contact me and see if I was, was going to do something. So this thing's is a lot more sobriety and recovery in it than anything to do with wrestling. It's just he's a huge wrestling fan too, and he's always loved wrestling. And they're a Georgia base. He went to Forest Park, which is just south of Atlanta here, and but it's just I haven't been around a more humble, extremely successful man in a long time, and it just. Man, it vibes. He just puts off a vibe that, I mean, we went to eat at this place. He's probably going to kill me for saying this. I'm going to say it anyway. I went to this place called Arnett's, and it was like a really, really cool like steak shop in Brookhaven.
Okay.
You
posted on Instagram?
Yeah, sure did.
Okay. I saw that.
That place there, and they bring the knives out, and I noticed that his last name is in the knives. And I'm like, what's going on? He goes, I'm a partner with them. And I was like, what? So I'm cutting I'm cutting my steak with his knife. It was really, and again, it was just, I came out of left field, and I was like, now what, brother? So he just just a super good guy that is extremely has done extremely well financially, but just keeps giving back and wants to give more because he just doesn't forget where he came from. His wife is a special lady too. Their children are they race cars and they're just into a lot of cool, fun stuff. And I can just see after having dinner with them, they are in a place of wanting to help. They have a special place in their heart, I think, for sobriety.
That's great.
He has a special story of a friend he saved when he walked in and actually had the guy had a noose around his neck, and that guy to this day, is still. I think he's still involved with him as a friend, and it was just a special.
Wow.
I mean, just absolutely just found like God led him to the house, abandoned house, and he opened the door and he was literally about to jump. It was crazy story,
Wow. That's
and from that he started doing a unit a year, giving it away. And we're going to do more. We're going to try to do more with the company, and just so now,
excellent.
if you when you reach out, we're going to show the QR code and everything here.
Yep. Right there
Would
on the
you?
graphic.
And it's going to be buff. If you go to that and fill it out, and you put in buff 25, you'll get a discount. I think it's $10 or it's 10%. It's a discount for sure if you put buff 25 in. And this is a great time of year for this because they do a spring cleaning, so to speak, where they come and get your unit, fixed and get it up to speed. And it's like 79 bucks, but you'll get something off if you mention above 25.
That's great.
Yeah, so very good time of year for that too. Because I mean, matter of fact, when he called me with it, I called him back and sent him two of my addresses that need a spring cleaning. So I called and put in Stacy's house and mine, and they both need to be done. They probably haven't been done in years. So
There you go. Yeah, you got to keep up with it.
yeah, you really
It's not
do.
my to do list. I think I got like a contract, and they harassed me to get to get them in there to take care of it. So I'm sure they do that as well, where you can get on a schedule with them for
Yeah.
maintenance.
So we're going to present a QR code and
Perfect.
check it
Right
out,
there.
and just it's going to be just really a really cool thing that will, like I said, this thing's going to be. This is just the first time I was talking about it, but he really wants to do more, and just it's just going to be a real good teammate here, I think, with this, and help us reach out to more people and help more people.
Perfect. That sounds great. And we also have the gentleman behind Bryant Hill coming in later for a special giveaway for everybody as well. So, and you're doing some giveaways. You're doing some signed 8x10s that you're going to send out.
Absolutely, we're
So it's
going
a
to do 10.
giveaway night here on the
Yeah,
channel.
we're giving it away, man. 10. I think we'll do like somehow we'll do 10 with like 10 of them,
Perfect.
and we'll do that. And so yeah, the Bright Hill guy again, another super guy that reached out to me.
Good.
Dwayne, he's the owner of Bright Hill, and he does a lot of like shampoos and conditioners and hygiene soaps and lotions and
Excellent.
stuff, and a lot of beard stuff with conditioners and manscaping stuff. So a lot of cool
Excellent.
stuff, and so he's gonna be on at 10.
Yeah, like 10:15 or so, because we got a
Good,
little later start today than
cool.
usual. Usually we start at 8. So yeah, he'll come on in about an hour or so. He'll join us, jump on screen, and we'll have some fun. So stick it out with us, guys. We'll have a good show for you and some sweet giveaways along the way.
I love it.
But let's jump into the first question here. So we've got Kay Wallace showed up early today with a 2:39 p.m. question here. What was the
Wow.
backstage reaction to Sid breaking his leg at the Sin pay-per-view? And did it change the end result of the Magnificent Seven storyline?
Well, you know my answer to the Magnificent Seven.
I know it. I don't know if everybody else knows it, but
I'm embarrassed to say it almost, but you know me, I will embarrass myself for the truth. Um, I really don't. I didn't even know what the Magnificent Seven was. Chase had to tell me what it was. It couldn't have been more than a month or so because I would have probably remembered that I was in this group called the Magnificent Seven. It's my father's favorite movie of all time, and I don't
oh
mean the
wow,
remake. I don't mean
Yeah.
the I'm talking about the old school one,
Right.
with the old guys in it, the super, the Steve McQueen's,
Right.
the
Right. Right.
original Magnificent Seven, and Yul Brynner, and just some super stud guys, athletes, stars. But at the same time, man, yeah. So um, that Magnificent Seven, I really just either didn't put it together or whatever. So I don't know anything about what it did with that. But I do remember that we left Nitro to go to a hotel, and we had a bowl full of chicken wings, and the camera was panned in on it, and we were watching the Sid video. And when it panned out, the WCW, the NWO guys were breaking the chicken wing legs and laughing at Sid Vicious. And I was like, man, this is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what we did. That's what we did. We pushed it to the limit and over the limit. And again, I was like, does Sid know we're doing this? Is this okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Those kind of things get whispered, but not really, because your boss is sitting there doing it with you. So you just don't question the boss. So you just, yes, sir. How many of these you want me to break? And so crack, crack, crack. But so
Yeah.
yeah, we shot it several times. But I remember vividly being in just a hotel, random hotel we went
Yeah.
to, in a room with all the production crew in there, and we're
Sure.
shooting this scene of breaking chicken bones it was a lot. But
Yeah.
I don't think it really affected anything else. Sid was a great talent, but
Yeah.
one guy going down doesn't really affect
Sure.
something happening like the Magnificent Seven.
Right. 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 Yeah. Because I think you were the first. I think you were the match right before that match. I think it was you and Lex, and I think that was the one with Goldberg where you did that. You did your finisher off the turnbuckle,
Wow. The,
and
the
Lex
crash landing.
the crash landing where you
Wow.
lifted Lex. If I'm not mistaken, I want to actually look that up and see. But
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was totally buff. And let me see. Yeah, yeah, it was no disqualification match, and you and Lex beat Goldberg. This is when Goldberg wouldn't let you pin him, right?
Right. Well,
Lex
yeah.
had to do it.
This is still when he thought, and for 30
Right,
years now, that I was
right.
making fun of him at the gym. So he was like, Bagwell's not big enough to cover me. and,
That
and I
was
wasn't.
crazy.
I wasn't big enough. But, buddy, in 2025, there's a bunch of guys big enough to cover him.
The majority, right? The majority.
Brother, and he picked somebody.
Yeah. It's a different world today,
It
man.
really is.
You know what? I was watching I was at the gym last night and I was watching AEW. Now I have Bluetooth, headphones in, so I'm not hearing the audio. And I was watching AEW and I was just thinking, the ultimate test for wrestling should be if you can watch it without sound and still be interested, that they have something good going on here. Now that wasn't the case for AEW last night, but
It wasn't.
it was not.
It was not
It was
interesting.
like an endless segment. Granted, again, I'm not hearing anything, but I saw a little bit of Kenny Omega's match, which it's your typical AEW match. There's high spots, there's a lot of action, but the storyline just there's nothing there. You know what I mean? There's nothing to bite
Right.
into.
Right.
So yeah, it was weird. But I was thinking if you could really watch wrestling without sound and be interested in what's going on, that the product's good, right?
I will throw that. Yes, it's a great example, and you're right. I'm gonna throw this out real quick. So, and I've known this, but I wasn't able to put this sentence together about it until I watched NXT last night. I happened to flip over, and it was the girl that was defending two titles. One girl, like a Van Kier is her last name,
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yep.
has horns when she comes out.
Yep.
Like ram horns, and she was wrestling this um, real pretty blonde haired girl with a cool outfit. And they were just spectacular, man. And what got me off on this was talking about how much better NXT girls and WWE girls are than AEW. It's
it's night and day.
unbelievable. It's like when I tell the stories that I've told on my YouTube channel, when I tell those stories about the girls I used to get in the ring with and try to get them to do it, and they just couldn't do it. couldn't do they couldn't wrestle like a boy. They couldn't grab a person and pull them up, and
Yeah, yeah.
they didn't, their mechanics wasn't like a boy. And then the first one I saw that did it was, I always forget her name,
Mickey
Mick
James.
James. Mickey James.
Yeah.
What, she came in there and she wrestled like a dude. She was picking the people up and she would, Irish whip them and clothesline them and elbow him, and it just didn't look like a girl for the first time. But AEW girls look like girls still. It's weird. They hit the ropes too easy, and I don't know. It just looks a little hokey pokey compared to those NXT girls and the WWE girls. Their girl roster is strong, bro. It's strong.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. I see this one here. Did you like having the ring adjacent to the pool whenever you did nitros in Panama City? I remember various wrestlers being dumped into the water. Why doesn't AEW or WWE do things like this? I imagine that's a liability for sure, but there's things that you can, you could have gotten away with back then that just wouldn't fly today. It's probably that. But what'd you think about the poolside nitros in Panama City?
Absolutely incredible. And what most of the wrestling fans, most of the people out there do not know is that pool at 16 years old, I was in partying at spring break in Panama City.
Wow.
So you're talking about a full circle
Full
of
circle, yeah.
Marcus Bagwell at a pool in Panama City, partying with bikini contests and all that stuff, wet t-shirt contests and all that crap as a kid.
Yeah.
And then here I am,
Doing it again.
10 years later doing it again, but getting paid for it. And that was a big part of my life at 16, having a lot of fun in Panama City. And then the full circle is we're wrestling over the pool that I used to party and play in as a kid. It was really very surreal. And I think one of the top highest rated nitros ever was seen coming out of the helicopter.
Yeah. Yep. For sure. Now, here's another good one. All right. Who would make your list the greatest heel turns in pro wrestling history? Would John Cena's recent heel turn make your list?
I've never even been asked that question.
It's a different one. Yeah, I haven't seen that here before. A lot of times we see the same questions over and over again. So
yeah,
this is different.
It's a good one. It's a real good one. But the reason why I think it may not be a good one is there's not a whole lot, is there? I mean, you got Hogan.
To me, Hogan's, that's the biggest one. You had Hulkamania running wild for two full decades almost, and then he does the heel turn, drops the leg on Macho, and creates the NWO. To me, nothing's ever going to top that. So,
but again, just name any. I can't even name another that's even kind of important.
A top contender. Yeah, to me, there's not that many iconic moments, and for me, maybe I'm just not. I don't know. Maybe I like the old school stuff more, but for me, I think the John Cena heel turn, it's just not, to me anyways, it's not believable. I just think he's too much of a baby face, even when he's trying to be a heel. It doesn't, I don't know. It falls flat for me.
Me too, a little, but the other night when he did his interview, from the moment he walked out with that dumb look on his face and he tied it all together with everything he said, I was clapping for him.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that's incredible. Like, I'm going to take it away from you. Mm-hmm. I'm going to show I've been watching. And if you really dove into that interview, it was really special. Yeah. It was really well done. And I was all in with him being a heel. I didn't know he could pull that off like that. It was really, he didn't go the route of yelling and screaming. He just got a typical wrestling interview, like all the wrestlers do. They start yelling and screaming. He just told them that he was going to take his ball and go home, and it was wonderful. I think it was a wonderful interview.
Yeah, there's been good. I think it's just that I've seen him as a baby. It's all your perception at the end of the day too. Yeah. I've seen him as the baby face, and that's that. Even now that he is doing some good promos as a heel. It's just, to me, I don't know. I can't not look at him and see baby face.
Yeah. But to answer this question, there just isn't enough of these turns to have
Right.
even a Mount Rushmore. There's couldn't be a Mount Rushmore because I don't think there's four big ones to talk about unless we go real old school or something.
Well,
You
yeah,
know?
if you're opening it up to everything, then yeah, I mean, you'd have to dig pretty deep.
Right. But
Now we got
even my turn, it wasn't even talked about. It was
right,
nothing, and that was Marcus Bagwell, turning on the guy that broke my neck, and it was nothing. Matter of fact, it was a mistake, I think. And the crowd, I remember the night I did it, and there was no reaction because the crowd was so amazed that they were mad. Like, I can't believe you did that.
right, right,
The
right.
first thought was he faked that injury. Is what they first thought.
Yeah,
Is what I felt. So the crowd was
right.
more like, and instead of like boo, it was more like, oh, how dare you? And it was
Yeah,
just, I thought it was really a bad hearing. But yeah, the Cena thing, great vision, great interview, but pretty tough, man. 16 years of nothing but baby face. And then, you
pretty
know,
much. Yeah. Yep.
so
Now, if you had a WWE run, which by all means should have happened, how would you have responded to be put in a ladder or cage match, having broke your neck in WCW? Would you have been game to do that, or would you have pushed back on it?
Oh, 100% I'd have been all in with that. But you had to know what my doctors told me and how they told me. So when I finally got everything done and I was fixed, my neck was fixed, I was medically fused at 3, 4, and 6, 7, which means there was a steel plate at 3, 4 with 4 screws and a steel plate at 6, 7. Excuse me, 3, 4. Yeah, 3, 4, and 6, 7. At 6, 7, another steel plate and 4 more screws. So 2 plates and 8 screws are now holding my neck together. My neck was better after it was fixed. Now mentally you're a little worried,
Of
but
course, no.
but no, not really, because the exact same thing would have to happen again, and which is very awkward and very weird when that happened. And it would have to be stronger than the last time because now I got steel plates. So I would not be the least bit worried. It wouldn't have affected me at all. But it's a great question because of people not knowing this explanation of the steel plates and screws holding my vertebrae together. But my neck was much stronger after I physical therapied and kept the plates and screws in. So I'd have been
Makes
all
sense.
in.
Excellent. And I think that warrants a signed 8x10. What do you think? For Mike Yazzie.
Absolutely.
Mike, send us an email, Marcus
Yes.
Buff Bagwell YT at gmail.com. And I'll
And make
provide
sure
that
you
for you
send
guys.
make sure you send your address
Yes. Send your address,
and how
send
you
your
would like
name.
the picture signed.
Perfect. Now we have, I believe this is Rodney with a super chat right here. Thank you so much. And he's got a question too. Mark, I sent you the video, but what did you think? What did you think of Disco saying Lex should ask you to induct him if Sting can't into the Hall of Fame?
I was going to talk about this a minute ago when you brought up AEW and I got up on the girls. Yeah. So do you know about this?
He sent me the video. I haven't watched it all the way through, but I heard
Okay.
that
So
Sting's not able to
it's
induct him.
well, it's not been said by Tony Khan yet. So
Okay.
the rumor is that Tony's not going to let him do it because he's mad that the WWE did not allow their guys to be seen on AEW. Now, I can't imagine Sting still being under contract after retiring, and I
He's
know
I
if
think he's
Sting.
got the equivalent of a Legends deal over there. It's
Okay,
more it's more of a brand deal where they can continue to do the merchandising and all that stuff.
but what I do also know is that Steve Borden, if he wanted to, can do anything he
Oh, I,
wants.
I have no doubt.
So there's no doubt in my mind about that. So if he wants, I think this is just going to be something that people are talking about, because
Yeah.
if Steve Borden wants to do Lex Luger's thing, he will be at the introduction and do it for him, and definitely induct Lex into the Hall of Fame. And but yeah, what Rodney was saying is they mentioned my name, and I would love to do it for Lex too, but Sting is just the guy for that.
Right.
They've been together. I mean, if there is a plan B, then Buff Bagwell definitely is that plan B guy. Not that Lex would pick me, but on paper, Buff Bagwell makes a good plan B for Lex if he needs me to do it. But Lex is, Sting's known him 10 years longer than me. So
Yeah.
it's a big deal. Super friendships. I mean, you know, Sting has saved Lex's arm with doctors and was there for that, and Lex has been there for Sting on so many things. So they're just super big friends, and I think that whole problem will fix itself. I think maybe Tony was just a little bit upset that he got shunned by the WWE, but like I said,
Right.
if Sting wants to do it, Sting will be there.
Yeah, I have no doubt.
Yeah.
Here's a good one from Terry Quick here. What do you think of wrestling signing deals with streaming services now?
Tell me about this, Chase. I have no idea.
So streaming service is basically there's no longer that pay-per-view model anymore where you order your pay-per-view through your cable company. It's all through now Peacock, obviously, for I guess Peacock and Netflix, depending on where you're located in the world, for the big pay-per-views, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, all that good stuff. TNA, I think, is in with, I forget who they're with right now, but everybody seems to be aligning with a streaming platform because I think that's the way of the world these days. I mean, everybody's watching Netflix. They're watching Peacock. They're watching Paramount Plus. That's just, I don't even have cable at my house anymore. We just use streaming services with our internet.
Right. And I'm not even sure how to. I understand what you said, but I wouldn't be able to even put that in sentence form.
Right.
I know that little about it, but
Yeah.
I just know my life has always been cable, and there's a cable running from your TV. So can we do? We still probably call that cable, but we don't.
It's
We
cable.
call
Yeah.
that but so it's just a
It's going
different
by the
time.
wayside, though. The times are changing. Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
is. I mean, I remember a long time ago there was a cable that ran across your floor to the
Wherever the TV was.
well, and the cable went to the real fancy ones.
Yeah.
The cable went to a box that you held, like a phone, and you changed the channels on that box. But that cable, no matter how rich you were, that cable came across your floor.
Yeah.
And you couldn't hide it. You couldn't put it up because we tried.
You staple it to the trim or whatever. The
That's
woodwork,
right. You try to hide it all you want, but the best way to do it was right across the middle of your floor.
Yep.
And it was crazy. And you had this little brown box that you did all the numbers on. And that was, I remember the name. It was called Summit Cable. And if you remember that in my Shoot My Dad story, that the Summit Cable is who rang the doorbell that day.
That's right.
Summit Cable was coming out to check our cable, because I tell the story, the cable guy showed up, and it wasn't Jim Carrey, but the cable guy showed up to fix our cable. When I walked outside, the cable guys who saw my dad shoot the tires out of the car and then him pull my. As a matter of fact, I told this story, but if it wasn't for the cable guy being there, I probably wouldn't have tried to kill my father, because when I saw the cable guy see all of this,
Yeah.
I was enraged and I blacked out. That him seeing it, I watched that guy see it, and it was just the craziest thing I ever saw. When he saw it, I just went, and the next thing I know, I'm shooting at my dad, and he's diving in the back of the van, the work van. Summit Cable.
Wow.
So streaming, all that, I think it's 100% it's gone that way. I mean, you can't watch wrestling. Monday Night Raw is no longer on regular television.
That's right.
So that's I mean, used to, it was on every channel, and that's how you could always watch it. And now it's not free anymore. Now you got to pay for it. So it's a big deal. It's a giant deal, but I do like it. I think it's much more organized. I think it's much better and much easier. And I think it's great. I think it's a good thing.
Well, and we're not having to shell out. I mean, what were pay-per-views? Pay-per-views used to cost at least $50, $60, $70 at one point.
Around $50 always,
Yeah. So now you don't have to, you pay your membership.
Now it's $50 a month.
Right. Well,
probably $100.
Yeah. Well, it's No, well, it's cheaper now because you're paying about that for the year. So you're getting
Is it a
WrestleMania, you're getting
year?
SummerSlam. Yeah, I want to say it's like $15 a month, something like
Something
that.
like that, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's actually cheaper, which I mean,
Wow.
maybe that creates less money for wrestlers on the back end. I don't know. I don't know how they
Yeah.
structured the deals now, but it's cheaper. UFC's not doing that though. They're doing, I want to say they're like $100 now for their UFC, big fights. They have the fight nights, but then the actual pay-per-views are really
Right. Well,
expensive.
that's weird because isn't that TKO?
It's TKO, yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But they do business very different, under those different umbrellas. So it's interesting.
Hold on a second. Hey, Stace, what'd you yell out?
Said Chase was too young to talk about cable from our day.
Oh, you said you're
I'm
too
not
young.
I'm not that young. I remember cables, but
Cable.
so we got one here. Buff is a multimillionaire. Why are you dummies giving him money?
Oh, wow. I wish this cat was right. Did you hear that, Stace? I'm a multimillionaire.
I wish this cat was right.
Yeah.
Me too.
I didn't know it. I had to break it to Stacy that
We'll give Rodney his $4.99 back.
Yeah, when she Googles my name or anybody Googles my name, I think it shows I'm worth like 500 million or something. I'm like, Stacy, you can't. That's not true. I'm sorry.
She's looking for it. She's under the couch looking for
Yeah, like where's it at? You trickster. Where's it at?
I wonder where they get those numbers though, because my wife and I will do it all the time. Like we're watching a movie or something. How much is Mel Gibson worth? Ask Siri, and I'm like those numbers are how can they be accurate? Nobody knows what he's actually truly worth.
I want to believe, who don't want to believe all of it, but
Right.
when I look up my name and know that it's millions of dollars off, it just makes, and I've been 6'1", 247 my entire life at WCW. When I'm 5'11", 225, it's just the nature of the beast, but it's just human nature. It just comes along with the territory,
Right. Absolutely.
I think just a couple of pay-per-views ago, brother, Roman Reigns, they said was 280. And I went, surely the wrestling fan isn't that stupid. So why would they do that?
Yeah.
He's never seen 280. You don't even know what that looks like. And it just blows my mind that they actually, okay, you throw 20 on there, but that's throwing 50 at the best on there. Because 230 is the top he was when I saw him the last time when they said 280. And he looks incredible, but he ain't 280.
I think he's slimmed down a little bit, if anything, too.
I would say if I'd have bet my life, I'd say he was 225. Yeah. And keep it in mind, like I told you the other day, at my best looking body on WCW, I was 228. So map that out in your head when you think about how somebody looks on television, because being lean, you look real big when you're lean on TVs, but the leaner you are, you don't weigh a lot.
Right. Makes sense. We've got Shadow Play here. Hey, Chase and Buff from Ireland. Wow, that's a ways away. They're ahead of us in time too, so it's pretty late there.
The only interview I ever messed up in my life was in Ireland. So Dublin is Ireland, right?
Dublin is Ireland, yes.
Okay. We were in another country the night, and I can't remember how I messed it up, but I said something about Dublin in my interview, in the ring, and it didn't get a pop. And somebody goes, Bagwell, we're in another country. And I was like, oh my God. And I wasn't messed up or anything, but that's the only time I ever have really blown it in a ring. And it was in a different country. I was like, sorry about it. I was wondering why they didn't pop.
Oh, so that's an in-ring interview. I was going to say there was something with Sean Oliver a while back. I think he blew that one too, but that's not in ring.
Yeah, that's not in ring.
Water under the bridge.
Right.
Retro Rob, Chase, Retro Rob, and then we got Buff. All right,
what's
guys.
up, Retro? What's up, Brandon?
What is this? Hey, Buff, I'm so hyped to meet you at 90s WrestleCon in New Jersey. Are you going to 90s WrestleCon in New Jersey?
I think I am. What's the date, I wonder? Do we know the date?
The date that I asked you if you were booked.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh, then
is that where you're booked?
Then yes.
That's
but I got it. But it's a single guy bringing me in, so I wasn't sure what the event is.
Okay.
but if it's that day, that's May 10th, then, right?
May 10th. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, so that I didn't know that was the 90s con, but that's where I will be because I'm doing a store also. A guy's bringing me in to do a toy
Nice.
store, figure store, and then I'm going to do the 90s con also there.
Okay. Well, I was asking you if you were available that day because of 90s WrestleCon in New Jersey.
There you go.
There you go.
I'll be there.
Perfect. I have a question for you. All right, Christian, ask us that question. Says that he lost 10 pounds. We'll see if we can find that question as we get lower and lower.
Okay.
Shadow play. Buff, will you be in Vegas for Lexus Hall of Fame induction?
I definitely will be there in Vegas. I'm not sure when the actual intro is and induction is. I don't know. Is it the day before? Yeah,
I think they do the Friday, so that would be the 17th or 18th, however that falls.
Yeah,
I think they're doing that Friday.
You know the deal on this. You don't exactly call up and say, "Hey, Lex, am I invited to your induction?" Right. So I don't even. I love Lex Luger no matter what happens. Lex Luger is a special, one of my best friends in the world, but I wouldn't ever bother him with that. I have dreams and hope that I'm involved and would love to induct him, but all those things. But those are things that Lex you got to wait till he calls me and just see. But I think there'll be. I don't know exactly how it works as far as how many tickets you get and inviting people and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We shall see. And he had a follow-up question here. Buff, I'd like to get your opinion on the Jon Moxley nails bat scene in AEW. I actually sent you this a couple days ago.
Yeah, but I tried to watch it, and either I didn't watch it long enough, so I have not seen this.
Okay.
But he's supposed to get hit really bad with a bat, right?
No, so they lay it, and I don't know if it was a bat or if it was like a 2x4 that they just had. They had a whole bunch of nails sticking out of it. So Edge went, and I forget what do they call an Edge now, guys? Cope.
Oh, like rated R 90, like rated R.
Well, they have they have that one, but I forget they changed his name. He's the I think it's Cope because he was Cope. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. They just changed it to Cope now.
Okay.
But so he did like a suplex with Moxley right onto that, and then they couldn't get the nails out of him when he landed on it. So it was a bit much. I thought like why do you have to go to that extent to I guess AEW needs the views that bad, but it's crazy to do that.
I mean, what happened? Did he pull?
Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it for you, and we'll pull it up here. You might not have sound, but let me see if we can.
I don't think we need it with this.
No, let me see if I can find just that footage alone without the whole thing. Otherwise, we're gonna get hit with a copyright here.
Who was Moxley?
Edge.
Cope.
Edge. Cope. Yeah. Let's see if we can find just the spot alone here.
I can tell you it couldn't happen to a tougher guy.
Right?
So
let's see. All right. Let me see if I can bring you over here. And let's see. Share screen. All right. Let's see if we can play this.
Setting up that table. Oh my God. No. Oh, into the midsection of Moxley. Look at watch it. Oh, good God. He's positioned. Oh my God. You got to be kidding me. Stuck in his back. Pull it out of his back. Look at that. Pull that friggin' thing out of his back. Holy smokes. I've seen it all now.
Wow.
Pretty crazy.
So to me, it's kind of like I remember one of the most valuable lessons I learned at wrestling school one day was, and unfortunately, I still see it to this day, and it just blows my mind. But it's somebody that'll be getting choked, and a wrestler does what with his hands?
Puts them right.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Sells it. Sure. If you're really being choked, though, you'd be trying to get those hands off of you.
So the lesson was Michael P.S. Hayes in the ring, and he started choking me, and I did this like everybody taught me, and then he really choked me, and my hands went
right.
And he goes,
"Stop it."
That's selling a choke. And I said, yes, sir. So who with a bat full of nails goes, I've got nails in my, you would be trying to get that thing out of you. And I get there's a fine line with the video and the camera and get it in there, but it just, to me, I mean, who wouldn't want to be trying to get that thing out? Squirming around. I mean, once it's stuck in there, you want it out, but still crazy. Wow. That's a lot, man. Scarred for
Well,
life,
this isn't a backyard wrestler, This isn't
Right.
this isn't a a death match. I mean, this is John Moxley does some crazy stuff, but
Right.
I mean, this is AEW TBS TV. This wouldn't have happened back in your day on the same network, right?
Right. No. So when we wrestled with the Battle Dome guys, for example, Eric Bischoff made it very clear to us. He said, hey, he goes, you know, let it be clear that these guys are a bunch of bouncers that are trying to make it, and you guys are superstars. So don't get hurt. Don't get hurt. And it's that sounds awful. And he said that in a closed meeting with his friends and employees, but at the same time he was right. And same thing with what I'm saying with these guys. These are superstars that didn't need to do that to that degree. I don't think it's very.
There's so many ways that could go wrong,
Yeah,
and it didn't come out easy. It looked like there were a good 50 nails in there, and I'm sure that's the idea to kind of get them close together so nothing really goes in. If there's more of them, it's not going to sink in as far. But still, it couldn't have been pleasant to
absolutely
to take that bump like that. Crazy. I mean,
it's crazy.
Surprised that they're doing that in 2025 because we're seeing WWE the opposite way where they're not doing crazy stuff. I mean, yes, they're blading a little bit more than they have in the past, but that's far beyond just a simple gig.
Absolutely. I mean, just for the entire 10 years at WCW, if we started bleeding, the camera, it went to the hard camera, and it didn't come up on it. If we accidentally started bleeding from a chair or somebody opened you, it was called a hard wave. You got hard wave opened, that camera went to the hard camera away from you. So it was definitely not the thing for TBS that would ever do.
Right. And I think at one point they started doing where they would just make it go black and white. If somebody got busted open on WWE programming, they would go black and white so you couldn't see, the red.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. Yep.
Makes sense.
So we got Monty Taylor. What's up, Chase? Hey, Buff. Great stuff as usual. Thanks, Monty.
Monty, good guy, man. He's really a really cool guy. I met him through getting a couple action figures from me, and he's the only guy to go, which was smart to me. He said, "How do I know this is Buff?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean to do?" He goes, "FaceTime me." So I FaceTime this guy. He's super professional and super big fan. And, he wasn't a mark by no means. He was a fan that I understood. I wouldn't want to send $200 for something, 2 action figures until I knew for sure it was me. And so, but out of all those fans, not one person asked, "Is this really you?" But he did. And we became friends over it. So really, really nice guy, Monty Taylor.
I just talked to Monty the other day. Great guy. I agree with you. Let me ask you this. You said he's a fan, not a, what's the difference between a mark and a fan, according to you? Because people have different takes on it. I'm interested to see. And is mark a negative? Does that have like a negative connotation to it, or is that?
I don't think so. I think people have different opinions about what a mark would be, but to me, a mark would just be somebody that just couldn't, like a fanboy. And a mark would be equal. Like you couldn't help it. You got to call Buff and talk to him. You're like, "Hey man, I'm sorry, I just had to call you." Where and then you get blocked, But
so it's somebody that's overstepping, has no self-control.
I think that person that maybe oversteps would be the mark. And again, that's not negative. It's just a little much for the star. It's a little much to have a mark friend because it's just and sometimes they don't know it even. I remember being around guys
Right.
and going, God, he is such a mark, and he don't even know it. God bless him, But it's never a negative thing.
Right.
He's a fan of yours. It's wonderful,
Yeah.
but he's just a really good guy that doesn't go past the line of making it weird.
I gotcha. Has anybody ever made it weird though? Has anybody ever like showed up at your doorstep? Like, have you ever had that experience with a mark?
I remember the first time I was ever on TV, my phone rang, and I answered. This is landline day,
Yeah.
and I answer the phone as I'm on TV for the first time, and the person goes, "Is this Marcus Alexander Bagwell?" And I went, "Yeah, I'm watching you on TV right now." So that was the first light, like the light going off in my head,
Sure.
like, wow, everybody knows. They just went and just back then you matched 0, or you went 411. You called information. Do you know? Do you
Right.
remember that one?
Yeah, I do.
411 was you call and you say, I need a number for Chase Brogan.
Yeah, it's like an
And
automated yellow pages, basically.
yeah, automated yellow pages. It was oh man, that was like texting back then.
Yeah. Yep.
And then you'd call the person. But so yeah, but stepping up at the door, no, but just everything but like maybe at a gas station, somebody just almost killing people in their car to get to my car to say hello, or just nothing
Right.
crazy, just a lot of crazy letters,
Okay.
like some crazy letters stuff, but never nothing too crazy person.
Well, that's good. That's manageable at least.
Yeah.
Letters you don't necessarily need a restraining order
Right.
for, so that's good.
Exactly.
From Kyle here, I'll see you Saturday in Syracuse. Buff, I can't wait to meet you and grab a pic together finally.
Yes. Oh, it's gonna be cool. I can't wait.
Nice. Yeah, Syracuse is nice. I've been up there a couple times. They have a nice concert venue, like right on the water up there.
Yeah, this thing
Nice
is a
place.
really big deal we're doing here. It's a big signings, Saturday and Sunday, and just a real big event. They got the whole thing. I mean, meals are included, and it's just a very, very professionally ran thing by this guy named Joe Lynch.
Nice. Chase is back on the soda drink. Just a little Diet Pepsi in moderation.
Yes.
There's no carbs in it, so
That's
you're
brother.
good.
Yeah,
Good.
I'm telling you, you can drink as many of those as you want.
Well, don't tell me. I'll end up polishing off a 12-pack, so I won't go that crazy. But
Yeah, it's crazy. The people just don't realize how much is in those regulars, man. It's nuts. 50 grams of sugar.
nice. And you got another one here. Hey, Buff, I'm so hyped to meet you at 90s WrestleCon in New Jersey. Another
This
one.
thing's gonna be pretty big.
It is. I saw that they've got a lot of guys going to that one. It's going to be good. And there's a show in New York about an hour away from there as well, where the Hardy Boys are. Boogie's going to be there. There's a lot of guys coming to that one as well. So
Hey, remind me to talk about that after the show and make a call out for that.
yeah, absolutely.
See what's up.
Are you doing that other show prior to?
That's what I'm saying. Let's
okay.
let's see.
Yeah.
And I was flying home that night, but we can always change any of that.
Yeah. All right, perfect.
So let me know. We'll talk about that. Let's make a note of that.
Perfect. Will you ever sign a WWE Legends contract if you were asked? That seems like a no-brainer right there.
Absolutely. I would love to be able to wear a WWE shirt and say I was underneath their umbrella. It's just such a wonderful company that's came so far, and to see wrestling go from us begging people to get in to a TV tape and to people selling out these buildings week after week, night after night. It's just a wonderful, wonderful company, and I would love to be under that umbrella.
For sure. And Jack Powell here. Hey, Marcus, did you have a favorite WCW pay-per-view format? Halloween Havoc, Super Brawl, etc.
Well, ironically, he put the one in there that I thought was always
Halloween Havoc. That's the best one.
I think it was always the best one. I mean, it just seemed. I'm a big Halloween guy anyway. But the orange and black, I like orange and black tights. That was
the stage presentation was always top notch. Yeah,
it was, and even the commercials, with the bats flying. It was just, to me, Halloween, and the name Havoc. Halloween Havoc. I mean, it was definitely the best pay-per-view.
Absolutely. And we've got, I'm just going through the super chats here. NYC Heckler, thank you for the super chat. Cannot ask that. We can't hit that question on screen, but appreciate the super chat. We'll go to this one, though. Ty Claude, how was working with Eddie Gilbert? Any insight stories?
Wow. So I've told this story on the channel, but this is a great story, too. So Missy Hyatt and Eddie Gilbert, to my knowledge, were married. And during the time of them being married, they were getting divorced, but they wasn't divorced yet. And that's when Missy moved into my apartment complex called Poplar Place. When she moved into Poplar Place Apartments, I didn't know this, but she was moving or breaking up or starting the divorce, whatever, by moving to Poplar Place Apartments. I didn't know this at the time. She sees me at the pool and comes to my room that night and talks to me and my wife and says, "Man, you should be a wrestler," and all that stuff. And then I remember I went to the WCW place. They wanted $3,000. She found Steve Lawler to train me. And then about a week into my training, more than that. This is probably 6-8 months into me doing independence. I I hear a commotion, and I kept a gun by my bed always. I still do. And I had a 45 automatic back then, stainless steel 45 automatic. And I look out my eye hole of the door, and it's two people, Missy and another person, fighting over my barbecue grill, but a nice barbecue grill on wheels with all the utensils and everything. And he's got it halfway in her door, and she's got like the fork, the big fork, and he's got the spatula. And I open the door, and I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" And it's Eddie Gilbert. He turns around, and I go, "I got the gun in my hand. I got to switch hands with the gun and go, 'Hey, Eddie, how you doing? Nice to meet you.'" And then, hey, you can't make this up. 2 months later, I'm wrestling Eddie Gilbert on ESPN as the Handsome Stranger. I got to walk up to Eddie and go, "Hey, brother, are we cool about the gun thing?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, we're cool. But what was happening that I didn't know it is Mike, the big football player, I always forget his name, but Mike Busick or Mike something that wrestled for the he was an Atlanta Falcon football player that was wrestling for the WWF. He came walking out of, see if you can Google that, Mike something, WWF Atlanta Falcon football player.
Let's see.
And he came walking out. So there was a guy there that I didn't know, and Eddie must have knew a guy was there, and they were fighting over a dude being at Missy's.
The only Mike that's coming up is Mike Rotunda.
No, it's a big, tall offensive lineman. I got Mike. Almost like Busick.
Not coming up with anything.
And he wasn't there long, but he was an Atlanta Falcon football player that.
In the chat, help us out. Anybody know? Let's see.
But that's my story on Eddie Gilbert. Is I pulled a 45 automatic on him, and then 2 months later, I was having to wrestle him.
Bill Frolic.
Fralick. That's Fralick. It. I said Mike, but it's Bill. Bill Fralick.
I see Mike Keene here as well, but yeah.
Good one. That's Mike another Bell. One. Yeah, but yeah.
So we got a lot of options coming in.
Yeah, Bill Fralick. That was him. And he was like 7 foot, 300 pounds with abs. Come walking out of Missy's apartment. I was like, hey, Bill, how you doing, brother?
Why was your tag match at WCW Greed pay-per-view so short? Do you remember that one?
We asked the same question.
That's under a minute, I think, right?
Well, so I think it was like, I remember, I thought it was like 8 with entrances and everything, but 8 minutes
could have been.
Is horrible. That's where I laid there so long, right?
I remember that was with O'Hare and Palumbo, Jindrak, right?
Or the 2 young boys. So Palumbo, Jindrak, O'Hara, 2 of those 3 young boys.
O'Hare, Yep.
So the young, good-looking kids, they were all jacked up and looked good.
Right.
Well, so what nobody knows is if you do the math on the date of that pay-per-view, I'm almost positive the next day is when Shane showed up to WWE.
So it was March 18th, 2001.
So yes, guess what?
Yep. Yep.
That was
Go.
that night when we were losing that match. Me and Luger came into Johnny Ace and we're like, Johnny, what in the hell's going on, buddy? I mean, these kids they're gonna beat us this quick. Why? And what are we doing? And he brought us in a room quietly and he goes, listen, don't say anything to nobody. But WCW's taking a 6-week break. We're gonna go home, we're gonna regroup, and we're going to come back after 6 weeks with a bunch of big changes. So if I was you, I wouldn't argue about this.
Right.
I would just go out and do the job because it isn't going to matter. In 6 weeks, we're coming back with a whole new format. And so we didn't, but still, I can't remember. I didn't do it on my complete own, I don't think. But it ended up with me laying there for a long time just to kind of rock the boat.
Yeah. So do you think that he was under the impression, do you think he knew that WWF was coming in, or do you think that he was buying the Eric Bischoff story of, they were going to...
I think maybe he was buying the story. I don't think because that's too close to the real thing. I think he may have wouldn't even have done that, And it wasn't like it wasn't like we were friends. We weren't enemies either, but it wasn't like we were buddies. So all you had to do is say, let me complain and get heat for it if you wanted to. He just said so I think that he probably knew a lot more than anybody he didn't mention Eric's name. He didn't mention anything. He just said there's going to be a break and a bunch of changes. And he was right about both.
There was a long break for WCW.
There was a break and there was a lot of changes.
Well, there was a break till about 3 weeks ago when they popped up with the YouTube channel now. So now you can watch WCW whenever you want on YouTube. It's crazy.
Those chicks are going to be flying in.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. No, they're not.
They'll be flying in for somebody, but...
Yes.
All right. We got another one here. Who would you say was most underutilized in WCW? I feel like we get that one every week, but since it's a super chat, we're going to hit it again.
Absolutely.
You can do a different answer every week, and then we'll get to everybody that way.
Yeah, and the best part of that is you got to start it with me.
There you go.
So, I mean, and this is honest to God, I'm not just saying this. I mean, I truly believe at, the run of the WCW run, the way it was, there's no doubt. I mean, you got Rey Mysterio winning the world title. So for a Buff Bagwell at that junction to not even be in the running it's crazy. So I would say, as far as who would you say was most underutilized? If that sentence was out of the A talent WCW guys, who was the most underutilized? I would be one. I think two would be Norman Smiley.
It's a good one. Yep.
I think there's a lot there. I mean, I really think I think Shane Helms and those guys didn't really get a lot of push, and the roster was tough, brother. Look at the roster: Luger, Hogan, Nash, Hall, Ultimate Warrior, Bagwell. I mean, it's a DDP, Goldberg. It was a strong roster, brother.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
but so a lot of guys with a roster like that, I think, could be underutilized.
Sure.
So if the sentence again was out of the A talent guys, I don't think not many, but I do think I am one of the guys that was somewhat unutilized for what was happening with the way I looked, the way I performed. I do believe that Buff Bagwell could have been a much major player than they did, but I was fine being the tag guy. I had no problems with that, but it just definitely would have been fun to be up for a world title run.
Definitely. It's well said.
HVAC seal that's Let's give away a system.
Tonight?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So we got to go into this for a second.
Let me get details.
Okay. Yeah. Get details. So Michael Youngier wants to give away a free system tonight. Are you
Okay.
listening to me?
Wow. What
So
kind of so give me some details about the system. What is it?
So Stace, come here with Mike on the phone. So
That's a big one. That's bigger than some 8x10s for sure.
just
Wow.
hold it right there.
Okay, I'm putting him on speaker.
Just keep right there. So hey Mike. So give me a little bit of what the system is.
It doesn't matter what they have. I tell you, it does not matter. It's from 1.5 tons to a 5 ton heat, cool, heat pump, whatever.
From 1.5 tons to 5 ton AC unit, where you're going to just give them a brand new one.
A brand new one. All they got to look, just nominate somebody in the chat. Nominate somebody.
That's awesome.
Wow.
A needy family, whoever. If they're needy, not needy, we're not going to judge.
Yeah.
You just. And then what we'll do is we'll put all the names. We'll put all the names together, and we'll pick one, and we'll give them.
So everybody listening right now, there is a chance to get a brand new $13,000 to $16,000 brand new unit put in your house by May Heating and Air. And I am talking with the owner, Michael Youngier, right now. So we got to come up with something that can be the winner here for this. Like whoever
what state do they need to be in to take
Georgia,
part in this?
Florida, South Carolina, and Alabama.
Yes, sir. And then what we'll do is if you can get all the names together, Sarah, you talk to her. She'll put them together, and we'll do it live, and she'll just put it on a spin, and whoever wins it, we'll give them a brand new system.
So right now we got to get people to put their name in for this. We're going to put all of it in, and then next Thursday we will announce the winner. Does that sound like an idea?
That sounds great.
Okay, so everybody listening right now, Chase, you go ahead and give them the setup here.
All right, guys. So if you are in Florida, if you're in Georgia, what are the other two states, Buff?
Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and Alabama.
If you're in any of those states, I want you guys to type in entered. Actually, this is what we're going to do. You're going to send us an email to marcusbuffbagwellyt@gmail.com if you are in any of those states and you want to partake in this. And we'll hand over that information to May Heating and Air, and we'll do this next week live right here on the channel.
And we'll do the drawing right out of a hat, or we'll come up with something creative.
Yeah, he said he had an automated thing there that he could do. So that'll
perfect. The automated thing, absolutely. We'll
Perfect.
spin it, and we'll come up with something that'd be really, really cool. So, man. So again, guys, listen to that. This is a big deal. Can we put the QR code back up for him, Chase?
It's up right now. Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So that QR code, you go there, and that's letting you know what we're doing here. But this is the company that is going
This is the company
that's going to do it. So anybody that's interested in getting a brand new free system at their house, AC unit, then you need to put your information in, and we're going to do a free giveaway. Yeah, brother.
We're going to give one away every month.
Oh my God! Did you hear that?
Hey.
I heard that. Wow, that's incredible.
So,
wow.
A needy family or somebody.
So here's where this is going, Chase. This is where this is going to mean something. So this really what we're searching for here is, and keep in mind, I've got my unit works. I don't really want a new one right now. We're trying to find somebody that needs this. Somebody that his system is broke, a mother, a grandfather, somebody's system that's on their last leg. That's what we're shooting for here. We're not shooting for somebody that lives in a $500,000 home that wants a new system. We're trying to find somebody that really needs a system. We're trying to help somebody. Michael Youngier and May Heating and Air is trying to help somebody. So let's think about that when you're putting names into this thing, and we'll make this really mean something here.
Perfect. And it was Florida, Alabama, Georgia.
We're going to do this.
And whatever next Thursday is, that'll be number one. But we're going to do it on that day, we're going to give a system away on that day every month.
Perfect.
Next Thursday or Thursday after Cincinnati?
Just go with it next Thursday. So next Thursday, whatever that date is, April something, we're going to make April that part of the month, whatever the month that is, whatever day that is.
I know the
3rd.
month is
April 3rd.
We'll do it every month.
So April 3rd is next Thursday. So April, May 3rd, June 3rd, July, August, September, and keep on going. On the 3rd day of the month, we're going to give away a free, and we may adjust that, Chase, being on the Thursday thing for our events.
No
but
problem.
around the 3rd, the first of the month,
Sure.
on the Thursday that falls on our podcast thing, we're going to do it on that day. So it may not be the exact 3rd, but the first week of the month for the rest of the year, we're going to do this. This is a fantastic idea.
Excellent.
Way to go, Michael.
Can't beat that.
Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
It's a great idea. Great idea. Love it. May Heating and Air, buddy. Listen to this.
Absolutely.
You've never even been told a story like this before. You've
It's
never
crazy.
heard a story of a guy that's going to give away a brand new $14,000 to $16,000 unit to a needy family or anybody, but we're trying to hope it's for somebody that needs one. You
Needs
know,
it. Yeah, absolutely.
this is great. I love it. Fantastic.
Really blown away by that. That's
Blown
incredible.
away.
So
Blown
again,
away.
I highlighted on the screen, Marcus Buff Bagwell, YT@gmail.com is going to be the email that you reach out to if you're in those states, and we'll get you in the running for that. And that'll be taking place next Thursday right here on the channel.
And if somebody's not, somebody listening, that maybe somebody that's not listening,
If you
word
know
of mouth,
somebody.
man. Word of mouth. Tell somebody
Absolutely.
something. Tell them about it. And we'll be talking about it too as well. I'll be sharing and doing some videos on it as well. But
Perfect.
let's like tell a friend and let's really reach out to somebody. Like I said, right now I would hear this and I wouldn't get one for myself. I would try to get somebody that's somebody that's broken or it's old. So let's really put a little bit of, this guy's putting some love on this, and let's do that with the picking too, guys.
Perfect. That sounds great. Let's dive
Excellent.
into this question here from Ryan Brown.
Okay.
And we have our next guest joining us in a few minutes here. He's going to bring on some giveaways as well. But for Ryan Brown, if Buff had to make a Mount Rushmore of enhancement talent, who would be on it and why?
First person that hit me was, but he's not really enhancement, but I thought Billy Kidman.
Well, Billy Kidman had some, I feel like when he went to WWE, he was enhancement talent because he came in under the WCW, banner.
Right. So I think Billy
they put him down there. Yeah.
Billy could have been a real big part of anything. I think Billy Kidman. I think oh man, who do you think? Can you think of somebody? I think you know who I like. They had tons of heat, but again, I think he had what it took. Was Sean Stasiak.
Stasiak, okay. Yep.
Stasiak was a guy that just had a lot of heat. I mean, he did something crazy. He recorded people in the rent-a-cars and then played it back. That's crazy. But it don't mean you're not a good wrestler.
Right.
He came to us and he was in my car with me telling this story. And I'm like, are you recording me right now? And he's like, no, brother. So Stasiak was a super cool guy. I liked him a lot, but great body, 6'4". I mean, incredible looking. So I mean, he could work, great worker. So he'd be on there too. I think that little clique of the Jindrak, O'Hara's and Palombos. Those three boys were big, jacked up boys that could have done something,
Yeah.
So all those guys.
Palumbo, I feel like they got their little bit of time in there, and
they did.
In WWE, but it was short-lived. Like
it
Palumbo had a push with Billy Gunn for a little while, but they gave him, the gay gimmick, the gay tag team gimmick for a little while. It was edgy, but it fizzled out. All of them fizzled out.
And then he was like a Harley mechanic or something.
Yeah, that was
Remember
in there
that?
too. Yeah, yep. So Ryan Brown, send us an email. We'll get you a signed 8x10.
Absolutely.
And do you think Ravens' flock were broken up too early?
I really did think that was a pretty cool little thing. It
was.
So who's to know early or not? But I really did think that was a cool thing, having them in the ring. I mean, in the audience.
Yeah.
In the audience watching the show. I mean, we talk about this a good bit, but they were sitting there when I broke my neck. And Raven looked over at Riggs and was like, I think Bagwell's really hurt because he saw my legs crossed.
Yeah.
And so so I thought it was a cool thing to have them at ringside when you're out there wrestling, So it was different. It was cool. It gave the fans something to do, but you know, my pay grade does not go to whether they was in there long enough or not.
That's right. That's right. And when you broke your neck, it helps because they panned to them for a good portion of it while they were trying to wrestle out the stretcher.
Yeah,
took them about like 10 minutes to figure out.
Yeah, Norton was trying to drop an elbow on the stretcher and couldn't get it to open.
That was an old, even for 98, that was an old stretcher right there.
They were not prepared for a broken neck in a wrestling ring.
They weren't prepared for a wrestler to get on that stretcher either.
No.
Oh, that was a tiny little stretcher.
Yes.
I always thought that Sting would be cool to go up against the Flock. That's true. That would have been.
And they never did either, right? I mean, they could have hit the ring. And they could have finally got sick of Sting doing what he was doing and hit the ring and have Sting
all come in on different,
yeah, and clean them out and have a little angle with them. So that would have been an excellent idea. Absolutely. Right. Good job.
Yeah. Shadow play. You had a bunch of good questions tonight. So send us an email.
Yeah, send us an email. He gets a
8 by
10.
Yep. Personal question from Jackson White. Have you guys set a date yet?
Great question. And no, we're researching. I've always wanted to do like a fantasy. I love trains, and I've never actually taken a train trip, but they've got a trip of a train in Canada and like in Hawaii somewhere or Alaska it's a train that's total glass. And I want to do a train ride like this in the winter and see the smoke coming out of the train and the mountains and the train tracks going through the winter snow. That's what I want to see. And I want to get married on that. So we're researching that and trying to see if that's even a thing.
That would be very cool. Certainly memorable.
Yes.
That would be great. From Joe Bangles here. Buff, you have earned a WWF Hall of Fame spot. I'll be happy when you get it. Thanks for the memories.
Thank you so much. I hope so too. I really, 20 years of doing this and loved the business. And I think that, they really are careful of who they put in because of their name. Their name is very good and solid now. And Buff Bagwell's name has not been that for the last, couple of decades. And now it is. And hopefully time will tell. You put good out and you get good back, so we'll see.
For sure. And there's still some more names that they're going to name for this year. I heard that Demolition's in the running. That would be a good one to add into the Hall of Fame.
One. Yeah. That's a great one. Wow.
And I believe that Royce said that his father has a Legends deal now. Obviously Brian Adams has passed away, but supposedly, that the estate or whatever has a Legends deal in play. So I would imagine they'll put him in with Demolition if that all falls into place.
Absolutely. That's great. That's very cool. I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know they could even do something like that with the estate.
I guess so.
Wow.
Yeah. So we've got any interactions with Stunning Steve Austin. There's more than a couple, I'm sure.
Absolutely. No, there's Steve and me go way back, and he's always been really good to me and very supportive of everything. I've called him several times during the beginning of WWF going to WWE and WCW going away. And we did a podcast once or twice. And then we also, I call him just for advice, and just, he was always there for me, always. And just a really good guy. A memory I have on Steve was he was a fan of my stories. And he was always talking about how I had these crazy stories and I had this crazy voice. The way I told him, he goes, and this guy has been in some of the craziest situations and the way he tells the story. And he really puts me over. It makes me feel good. But he says, it's unbelievable. But I remember him when I told the very first wrestler I ever told I shot my father, it was in Jacksonville, Florida, at an Admiral Benbow hotel. And when I told Nash, his first person he called was Steve Austin. And so I had to tell my first time telling it back at the Admiral Benbow that morning was to Steve Austin. And then I told it 10 more times to other wrestlers until I said, Kevin, call everybody. Let me just tell it one more time, please. And so he called everybody and I told it one more time. And then everybody looked at me weird for a while. They were like, hey man, Bagwell's a little bit loose. Y'all better look out. He'll shoot you.
There you go. Well,
It helped me,
it
though.
keeps
It really
everybody
did.
on. Yeah, I was going to say, it
It
keeps
helped
everybody
me
on their
because
toes.
I went from the little punk kid they couldn't figure out to he did what? You know? So it kind of helped me. It made people think, man, let's just leave Bagwell alone. Let's leave him alone. Maybe he's special. Special in his own head.
Absolutely. Now here's a good one too. Miss Elizabeth for the Hall of Fame. She's not in there, I don't think. That would be a good
Wow.
one. I think she's got to go in. And then Luna would be a good one as well.
Both of those are
Yeah.
very good. I mean, bro, Miss Elizabeth is the lady of professional wrestling.
Right.
I mean, her and Randy Macho Man, they got married on TV and all that. I mean,
Huge
she
iconic
would,
moment. Yeah.
she would be the highest to me, like a scary Sherry, but bigger because she was Miss Elizabeth. She was the baby face girl that was loved by millions. So that's definitely one that needs to be in there.
Right. Absolutely. Sergeant James, why not Dr. Diet Dr. Pepper? I actually have some in the trunk of my car outside. So I'm a big fan of Diet Dr. Pepper.
So am I. But I was going to tell you, I really believe that Diet Pepsi is absolutely the worst one.
Really?
I don't know why.
So I'm a Pepsi guy. You're a Coke guy.
I know, it's crazy.
But you can't be a Pepsi guy in Atlanta, so that makes sense.
Well, hey, my son-in-law is a big wig at Coke. He gets mad at me for drinking Celsius's because I just found out that's a Pepsi product.
Oh, really?
So, yes. So I got to be careful with the water I buy. I got to be careful with everything I buy because
what's Coke's water? Is Dasani Coke?
I think Dasani's not, right, baby? Which one's the water? Dasani is Coke. Okay, so we buy Dasani.
You got to get that straight. You got to get that
I know,
straight.
man. I just learned all this.
Does Coca-Cola have an energy drink then that they're partnered with?
Rain. I was babysitting his babies, and he called Walmart in some drinks. He don't know that Celsius was my favorite. So he goes, they're out of rain. So I'm ordering you Celsius's. But I was like, all right. But he goes, they're a Pepsi product. And I was like, oh my God, I gotta, that's my favorite drink. So hey, look, and this is not on purpose, but look, rain.
Are they good? I've never had it.
Well, they were out of sorry, I'm telling the truth here. They were out of Celsius's, and these were on sale. Buy 3 for $7. But now I'm going to bury it. 5 carbs, and Celsius has 0.
What about caffeine? Is it comparable with the caffeine?
I couldn't find it driving.
Okay.
So let me look. I'm gonna look. 200 on Celsius. So caffeine. It says caffeine. We don't say how much. 0 sugars. Mango. Caffeine. It's always blew my mind they don't list caffeine. It's got no, but don't say.
Let me Google it.
Yeah, Google it.
How much caffeine in Rain energy drink? Let's see.
It says caffeine.
Here. 300 milligrams per 16-ounce can. So
okay,
200 in a 12-ounce, because that's probably a 12-ounce.
12 ounce. So exact same caffeine.
So it's comparable.
But 5 carbs in Rain and 0 in Celsius.
And it's 5 for the whole can.
5 for the whole can. They had a sell, Eric. It was $3 for 7 of them. I mean $7 for 3 of them. So that's why I did it.
There you go. All right, we've got our next guest joining us here. We've got Dwayne.
Oh, I love it.
Coming in here, and he's got some great products for you guys too. He's gonna do some giveaways. What's going on, man?
Jug Mama.
Hey, how's it going? I'm not going to echo on you guys, am I? Couldn't find my earbuds.
No, you're good. You're good.
Sounds great.
StreamYard's
Okay.
got a great setup where they have like an echo canceller built in now, so it's good.
Nice.
At least on my end, it's good.
Nice.
Excellent.
Coke also makes Monster energy drinks. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I love Monster. So cool. I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah, I order it for the store, and so I love the Rehab lemonade and tea.
I love it. Sugars, or we at with sugars on that?
I don't think there's any unartificial sugars,
Right.
but I don't think it has any carbs in it though.
Okay, excellent. You know, the white can is always a definite zero sugar, zero carbs. And to me, in the Monster, it's the favorite one to me is the grape. Grape is unbelievable. It's just a lot of liquid, and it's a lot of liquid and only 180 on caffeine.
Yeah.
So you get 12 ounces here. Those cans got to be more than 12 ounces.
I think they're 16, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
so they're,
Those are the big boys, yeah.
Yeah.
They're a lot to drink. I love all those energy drinks. They're just they just a little more liquid in the Monster, but they all taste great.
Oh yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
So Dwayne, tell us a little bit about your brand.
So the name of the company is Bright Hill. We are an all natural product brand. We don't do any GMOs, no artificial scents or anything like that. Everything is made with essential oils. We do everything from beard care to shampoo, conditioners, laundry detergent, bath bombs. We do it all, and it's 100% all natural, no chemicals, no cheap fillers. Just
This is you right
top
here,
notch.
right? Brian
Yes,
Hill.
sir.
Excellent. So guys, check this out. We'll provide at the end of this a link for you guys. You guys can check out the products. But you had some giveaways for the fans here today.
Yeah. So I want to
Excellent.
give away a $150 gift card to the store.
There you go.
You can really rack up with some of the products. I know that Buff and Stacy use the products. I know they like them. I don't know if Dallas would give me for saying this, but the Pages Retreat that they're working on, you'll see the Bright Hill products down there at Pages Retreat.
I didn't know that. That's great.
Yes, sir.
All
awesome.
right.
Very good.
Yes,
And now
sir.
you don't have any added, like it seems like it's a very natural brand, right? All natural. I'm
All
seeing
natural.
everywhere.
No
Love it.
No chemical fillers, no cheap fillers. The Abyssinian oil is 100% from Ethiopia. The shea butters from Ghana comes to me in like this, 5-pound bricks that shrink wrapped. I mean, there's not even a third party it goes through. It goes straight to
That's
my
awesome.
back door.
Well, there's so many chemicals now in everything that
Mhm.
food is a big one, but hair care products, facial cleansers, all that stuff's just loaded with stuff that's just not good for us. That's cheap for them to put in there. So I love the fact that this is all natural. It's a great for your skin, great for just your overall well-being.
Okay, so the way we're going to give this thing away
Mhm.
is I'm going to ask a question. Dwayne, you got a certain way you want to do it?
No, that sounds
No,
good.
this is on you,
that
brother.
sounds good.
All right, so I'm going to ask a question, and the first person that answers it correctly that's watching the live stream tonight will get a $150 gift card to Brian Hill. So the question is, Buff Bagwell is a 5-time world tag team champion with 4 different partners. That means one of them I had to win the titles twice with. What tag team did I win 2 world tag team titles with? Whoever answers that correctly first on our site tonight wins a $150 gift card.
I like it.
Dun, 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 dun,
But the
dun.
wait is over here with
Dun.
Scotty. Was it Scotty?
That quick?
That was
Oh,
quick.
no, it's not correct.
Not correct.
No.
We got the next one here with the Patriot with Stars and Stripes.
That's right.
Wow. All right. And
It
that
was-
is Heza Machine. He's a machine. He's a machine. That probably is the way to pronounce that.
Well, that's
He's a
still pretty
machine.
cool. That's pretty cool.
Hit us up with the email address, which I provided a couple times. I'll type it in once more. Marcus Buff Bagwell YT at Gmail.
And good answer. Good job on that. Yeah. So me and Dale Wilkes, we won them twice. And even I can't remember, which is rare, who we beat both times. But the first one was Roma, was Pretty Wonderful in Jacksonville, Florida. And I can't remember who the second was. Maybe Harlem Heat or something, but I can't remember the second. But me and Dale Wilkes, Stars and Stripes, did it twice.
Excellent. That's perfect.
Yeah, congratulations. That was quick
$150.
too.
That was quick.
It was very quick. It was very quick. So they'll send me that email. I'll forward it on to you, Dwayne. We really appreciate that. That's awesome.
That's super cool. How did you get with Dallas, brother?
D-Rod.
Unbelievable. I showed D, Dallas don't do a lot of new stuff a lot of time. He's just not big on the new thing. But when D-Rod sent that a couple of pictures of him and Jake's and stuff, he was taking it, and I remember D-Rod had a letter with it, and it was, I didn't read it. It was a letter enclosed. But after that, I noticed that D-Rod was in with Dallas because Dallas kind of must have read the letter and must have hit home somewhere. But, D-Rod's a good guy, obviously. Super talented cat. But that's how I got in touch with you as well. But, so the whole resort down there, your product will be taking care of everybody under the DDBY, under the DDBY umbrella.
And doing his, I actually created him and Paige their own custom scent for the resort.
That's great. What name is it? What name?
I'm not sure. I will tell you a funny one. I had, so you and I have met a few times. The last time that we met up, we were working a show in St. Charles, Missouri, back in 2019, I think it was.
Wow.
And so I did a little video for Paige in Dallas, and I couldn't help but rib him a little bit. And I said, we should call the lotion Self High Five.
That's perfect.
The lotion?
Yeah, right? Is that bad? Self high. Am I missing something?
Well, when you're a teenager, Self High Five with lotion has a whole different meaning.
I guess so. I forgot. Yeah. So, yeah.
So
maybe
you're setting yourself up with that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Not necessarily a youngster. You could be any age with that self.
Yeah. Any age for that.
Yeah.
I don't think that one landed as good as.
Hey,
So
it might land real good. You never know. It could work for you.
Absolutely. Are you kidding?
But no, I don't know what he's going to call it yet. I'm okay with calling it just like a Page's Retreat and just having it exclusive to them.
Just, hey, I'll just retreat.
Yeah, retreat.
There you go.
Love it. I love it.
And it's exclusive to him. So the only way that you're going to be able to get that particular scent is to stay at the retreat. I'm not going to sell it online. I'm not going to do any of that. It's strictly going to be for them.
That's great. Do we have an opening date on that retreat?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Last time I talked to them, they were still working on it. So I don't know.
He was working on it when he was on the channel 2 weeks ago for the Brian Knobs benefit. So so he's probably still chipping away at it.
I love it. It's gorgeous, man. I mean, it's I think she posted working out, and it was to that old song, "Let's Get Physical." And she was doing it like it had it in fast motion, and she's a super athlete. I don't know if y'all know that or not, but Paige is a super athlete, and like freak type athlete, and loves athletics, always has, and just really, really an athlete girl, a very athletic girl. And she's doing like real fast yoga on the Let's Get Physical song. And it's the background. It's shot out of the retreat, which is their house. And it's into the, right in Panama City Beach, front. It's beautiful.
Wow.
Nice. I hadn't seen that. I need to go watch that.
Yeah, it's good.
Out too.
It's really good.
All right, Buff. We have 3 more questions I want to highlight here, and then
Let's
we're
do
going to
it.
call it a night here. And
Let's do
Dwayne,
it.
feel free to hang out with us.
Okay.
We've got John Logan here. Did you have a favorite celebrity encounter throughout all the celebrities WCW brought in? I thought this was a great question. I don't think we've seen that one come
It's a
through.
great question. I've never been asked that, and I've got an answer, and it's definitely Dennis Rodman. He had his Harley out with us for Sturgis, and Dennis um, I continued being friends with him. His drink, no matter, and it was like for years, his drink was a kamikaze. Wherever he was, there was a tray full, and they kept being several trayfuls of kamikazes. And I remember whenever I was with him partying, if it was in LA, if it was Sturgis, it was a tray full of kamikazes. But I did that several times with him. I had lots of fun with Rodman. He was a great guy and just wide open, a lot of fun, and just enjoyed being around him the most for sure.
Well, he'll be in Vegas for WrestleCon.
I can't wait. Tray full of
Good.
kamikazes for him's coming.
Probably, right? So John Logan, send us an email. We'll get you a signed 8x10 as well.
Absolutely.
And he also wanted to know where he can order your Pillow Buddy. Do you have more of those in stock, or are you out right now?
I got one left. So if you want to let's see the address.
He's going to be sending an email, so if you want, I'll get the info and I'll get it over to you.
Do that.
Okay, perfect. And then one here from Kay Wallace. Do you watch March Madness?
I was watching it. I love every sport during the main competition. Like I'm not a hockey guy, but if it's playoffs, I'll watch hockey.
Well, you guys don't have a hockey team down there in Atlanta anymore. So
I know the Thrashers was the highest, one of the best attendance ever in hockey, but we just couldn't win.
Where'd they go? Are they the Winnipeg Jets?
I can't remember. I think it was the Flames somewhere.
Let me see.
I thought they went to the Flames. That was Atlanta. The old hockey team was the Atlanta Flames, but I think it went to another Flame team. It was the Flames.
Winnipeg. That's who it is now. Winnipeg Jets. That's
Winnipeg Jets. Okay, yeah. So, but yeah, but same with basketball. You know, it's the best time of year for basketball. So I was just watching BYU and Alabama play, and Alabama was up on it. But Alabama had the record for 3-pointers is 21 for a game, and they had 12 at halftime. So they were on a chance to break the record. But BYU was tough. They were hanging with them. But I love March Madness. Sweet 16 is a big deal. It gives everybody a chance. I mean, that's what makes that Hoosier movie so special. Is that this time of year, that little rinky-dink school in the Midwest can come in and beat Duke, and they're the champs. You know, so it just gives everybody a fighting chance. I love it.
And I got one super chat. It looks like I missed before. How was putting the match with Eddie Gilbert?
Okay, so yeah, what I was talking about with that is that's how I had to start it. So I've got a match with Eddie Gilbert, and he probably don't know me, but I know that he's the one I pulled a gun on.
Right.
And so I walk up and say, hey Eddie, I'm Mark Bagwell, nice to meet you. And I go, hey man, are we cool about the gun? I had to clear that air on the gun before we went over the match. So he goes, oh yeah, we're cool. And so we mapped it and we did the match out. And of course I was putting Eddie over for like a TV title match thing. We had like a TV title tournament.
So this is like 91, 92.
This would have been like 90.
90, okay.
Like late 90, yeah. So okay. 90, because late 90, early 91.
Okay.
Yeah, so crazy. I mean, looking back on it, it was 5 years, but really it was like 5 months, man. It was the whole global thing was 3 months. And it seems like it was 2 years. It was really bizarre.
And then our last one here, will Sting induct Lex with DDP? We kind of touched on this earlier, Joe, but I'll let you hit it again.
That's huge, and I don't know is the answer. I know that DDP will 100% be there, and he should be. But I don't know about the inducting part. I just know that Dallas will definitely be a part of it and should
Yeah.
be.
Right, rightfully so. All right, guys. Well, thank you, Dwayne. I also want to shout out, of course, May Heating and Air for all those
Unbelievable.
in the states mentioned
That's
before.
huge.
Jump on and send us an email if you know somebody in need, and we're gonna hook it up next week with May Heating and Air. But
Unbelievable.
Dwayne, thank you again so much. We really, really appreciate you coming on here, and we'll get the that information over as well.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys bringing me on.
Of course, of course.
I have earlier you guys mentioned, the difference between a mark and a fan.
Yep.
So real quick, I want to tell a story about Chris Benoit, if that's all right.
Please.
That's all right. That's all right.
So my ex-wife she was from Kiev, Ukraine. And so I went over to Kiev and I lived for a few months, and I flew back and I was in Atlanta. And before we left, we booked my transport to take me from the Atlanta airport back to the college we were going to. And so I'm sitting there where the buses are, and you guys know how the airport is, like where the buses pick you up, like across that huge 4 or 5 lane thing is where all the limos and everything are.
Right.
And so I'm sitting there and I look over and my eyesight's horrible. And I'm looking and I'm like, man, that looks like Chris Benoit. And so I get up, and I was DJing at the time and traveling, so I knew not to approach him in like a, oh my God, type thing.
Sure,
So
sure.
I come walking up and I had my hands up for whatever reason, I don't know. But I came with my hands up and I was like, Benoit? And he turned and looked at me and I said, hey, big fan. Just wanted to say thank you for what you do for our entertainment. Really appreciate it. And we shook hands, and like I got to meet his little boy, I got to meet his wife.
Wow.
Talking to me, and I'm looking, and I watch my bus drive away, and I'm like, oh. He's like, is everything okay? I said, well, not really. I need to go try to find a ride to, get me back to college. I was like, my bus just left, and he's like, well, that's my fault. I was talking to you. I'll have my driver take you back to college.
Wow.
And I said, what now? And so it was actually pretty cool. Like he paid for my ride to get back to college.
So
Awesome.
the limo took him 20 minutes to his house in Peachtree City, and then drove you to your college.
Drove me to Rome, Georgia.
Wow. That's incredible.
What
a great story.
Like
awesome.
it was, whatever. It was just awesome. Like to sit there and to have, something like that. You just don't get that every day. So that's
special. That's a crazy story and a really good one. Do you remember the year on that?
2004, 2005.
Okay. Wow. That's incredible. What a great story. That's a good one, brother.
Like it blew my mind. And, I grew up watching you guys, on TV, and at the time that I really wanted to get into being a worker, I looked like Steve Urkel. I know I don't look like it now, but I did back then. I ate that guy. But like your physique was always one that I always strived to get.
Sure.
And I eventually ended up getting it. But yeah,
really?
I got pretty jacked. I did a bodybuilding competition.
Wow.
Let's see, I had my stroke 11 years ago, so it had to be 5 or 6 years ago.
I want to see some. I'd like to see some. I want to share some of those pictures when you get a chance. Send me a couple on my phone. Yeah. I want to see. That's impressive.
Oh yeah,
there's not many people that I talk to that go, and then I reached that goal to look like you. I'm like, what? Yes, way to go, brother. That's a big one.
At my peak, my chest was 50 inches around.
Wow, that's crazy.
And when I flexed, it was 22 inches around.
I gotta see, man. You gotta send me some pictures. I love that. That's great. Love it.
It was crazy, man. Like it.
This is post
Yeah, post-stroke.
Post-stroke. Wow.
Yep.
Bravo, brother.
That's incredible.
Appreciate it.
Well, thanks
I'm
so
very
much,
good.
Dwayne. We appreciate it. Chase, close us out.
Yeah,
Perfect.
thank you,
Will
guys.
do. Thank you, guys. We will be back next week. And also, I want to mention thank you to Ron here. We do have memberships open here on the channel. We'll talk a little bit more in detail about those next week. I don't want to jam too much down your throat today. We had a lot of giveaways tonight, a lot of breaking news as well for next week. So we'll chat about this next week, guys. But we have memberships here that you could definitely check out. It's another way to support the channel, but you'll get some extra bonus content and cool features as well. So thanks, guys, so much. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
See you.